Hello, my name is Hannah Sanchez, and I'm going to talk to you today about gestational diabetes. Um, According to the American Diabetes Association, gestational diabetes affects about 18% of pregnancies, which may not seem like a big number, but it is affecting quite a few women, and I was one of those women that was affected by gestational diabetes. I had to go take a 3-hour test, which I didn't finish because I had to get my blood drawn 4 times, and then after the second blood draw, I threw up everything, so it was invalid at that time. So I monitored my sugar for 2 weeks, and when my doctor saw it, she was not happy, and she's like, "Yeah, you have it." Um, so I was put on a special diet and monitored constantly to make sure that the health of the baby was fine. One thing we did talk about was the health of the baby, and that how gestational diabetes, if it wasn't controlled, could cause complications with the baby or the delivery. So it was very important to me to go ahead and monitor and make sure that I was doing everything correctly for my child. Um, like I mentioned earlier, gestational diabetes is diagnosed with a sugar test. There are certain risk groups, according to an article in the American Journal of Public Health. Fraction of gestational diabetes attributed to overweight and obesity by race and ethnicity. So if you have family history of type 2 diabetes, or if you are in certain ethnic groups, you can potentially develop gestational diabetes. But in reality, we are all affected. We can all potentially have gestational diabetes. So it's important that we all get screened when we're pregnant. So about 24 to 28 weeks of pregnancy, your doctor will send you for a 1-hour glucose test. If you pass it, then you are on your merry way and you don't have to worry about it again. If you fail, then that's when they send you on to the 3-hour glucose test. And unfortunately, I didn't finish it, so I did the monitoring in my blood. But normally, if you fail 2 of the 4 readings on the blood draws, then you're considered gestational diabetic. If you fail 1, they're not really too concerned, but they will tell you to make sure you watch what you eat, but they won't do the same process if you fail 2 or more. So if you do fail the 1-hour glucose test, then you need to make sure that your diet is changed. If you're not aware of how diabetes works, it affects how your body processes carbohydrates, how much insulin or how much insulin your body doesn't make, and how it processes those carbohydrates. So with gestational diabetes, they do try to control it with diabetes first. If it's not able to be controlled by diet, then they will go ahead and put you on medication, which I was at the end. Even though I did change the way I was eating, my fasting normal just would not come down, so they put me on medication. And on the diet, you can't eat a lot of carbs. You're given a certain amount of carbs a day, and for each meal and each carb serving, you have to eat a protein serving with. So that makes it hard because you can't just eat an apple without eating some nasty cheese with it or something. So it just depends on, you have to eat a protein with your carb. With uncontrolled diabetes, as I mentioned earlier, it can cause harm to your unborn baby, and it can create complications with the birth. But according to an article, body composition in normal and-term infants born to mothers with well-controlled gestational diabetes, your baby, if you control your diet, your baby will be just fine. So it's very important that the gestational diabetes is controlled. If it's not controlled, it can cause large babies, which in turn can make hard delivery, can potentially lead to cesarean section, which many people may not think twice about, but that has a whole slew of its own complications. So, and if you do try to have a baby normally, then it could cause shoulder dysplasia, it could cause lack of oxygen, it could cause a variety of things. Also, and really high cases where diabetes isn't monitored or the patient isn't even aware of diabetes, it can cause fetal demise. So it's very important that this is screened for the health of the baby and the mom. So there is a process to find out if you have gestational diabetes, and the importance of making sure that you control it and that you make sure that your baby is healthy. Whenever you deliver the baby, you're good to go, and you should be back to normal within a few weeks. You shouldn't have to worry about it again. But during the pregnancy, it is very important that you go ahead and maintain a right sugar level for your child to prevent any complications, just like with anything else. So I thank you for taking the time to listen, and you have a wonderful day.